Hi, everybody. This is Kathy L. Murphy, the Pulpwood Queen, reporting live from my little cabin in the woods, Murphy's Law. We are very excited tonight. Looks like we have a good crowd because we have our June Book of the Month authors here, Richard Schwartz and Wendy Carter, who helped him write this book for Pearl River Mansion. Now, this is a second in this Underdog series. I think you're going to find something that you will not be able to put down. Hi there. Hi,
Hi.
Karen. And we are going to first introduce Richard Schwartz, and you can introduce Wendy, but tell us a little bit about how this book came about. What's the story behind the story, Richard?
Yeah, I'm Richie Schwartz. I'm an attorney and I practice in Mississippi. So I'm a good old Southern boy. And the way I come up with these ideas in books, in my twilight sleep, I come up with stories. And I wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning and I start writing the ideas. And Wendy Carter has been so generous and helpful in helping me develop these ideas into a book. And this is our second book, and it's been extremely successful in what I call success, where people read it and they tell me how much they enjoy reading it. And that's really what it's all about.
That certainly is. And I don't know who did the cover of this book, but it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. I know I have a little bit of a glare, but did you have some input into this cover?
We did. Wendy and I did. We actually hired a lady. I think she's from Italy. Is she not, Wendy?
Actually from Spain, yes.
Spain.
Wow.
We hired a lady from Spain to draw it up for us.
That is, you really are an international read then, if you had that happen. So, and how long have you known Wendy?
Wendy and I have been friends, gosh, for how many years, Wendy? Probably 20 something years.
It's been a good long time. That's pretty close.
And well, I'm only 20 years old, so that's pretty amazing.
Good for you. Well, you look great. So does Wendy. She's just a little doll. In fact, we used her as one of our models for our vintage fashion show in 2020 at our live girl.
She told me she's a beautiful lady. She's a beautiful girl, and she's really imaginative. And the book is exciting. We're very excited about the book. And as you well know, it won Book of the Year in 2020 at the Online Book Club, and which is always exciting. And we love people to read it and give us feedback. And the book is really a little different in the sense that the first book had a lot of twists and turns. It was Too Dead and Counting. And some of those characters have come into the second book. And the second book is about a little Southern culture where an older lady lives in an antebellum home. And she is a little demented, we will admit. And it's a lot of twists and turns, some dysfunctional family issues, some deaths, some murders, all about a disappearance of a little girl and the granddaughter. And the ending of the book has a surprising ending that really leaves it up to the interpretation of the reader as to why it ended that way and what it meant to be.
And there's going to be a third one in this series, is that right?
It is. It's going to be definitely a fictional book. It's about a Mississippian who becomes president of the United States. So that's definitely fictional. And it's going to be basically some of the same characters. The detective is involved in all three books, and he actually helps figure things out. He's just an old country bumpkin, but he's good. He's got good moral values, and he's just kind of a lonely bachelor, but he finds ways to figure out the most complicated issues.
Well, what I really loved about your book too is when you get into lots of families, the fact that you have a cast of characters in the front of your book really helps you keep up with everybody. I always love it when we have these types of in-depth references and everything. So if you get a little confused on all the different characters, you can just flip to the front of the book and read all about it. Now, I have been hearing about you guys for years. my Jackson, Mississippi chapters, which is now 2 chapters in Madison and Jackson, and they've gotten so big, but they have been telling me about your book for some time, but it takes a while. I can only pick 12 books a year, and so far just this year, I've got 1,000 Mandy and I are going through
Oh
to,
my goodness.
oh, you have no idea. And of course, I can't read all of them, but I read enough of them to know if it's, I always look for original story, a story that hasn't been told before, one that is entertaining, engaging, enlightening. And you filled all the ticket. I just finally got to it with the second book, Pearl River Mansion. So now, how do you juggle? What is your writing process? If you're an attorney, you're a pretty busy guy. So how do you and Wendy do this?
It is Wendy and I have come up with a system, and the way we do it is we have the story in our head, we have the skeleton, and then we go to movie stars and we pretend like it's a movie. So we cast the characters for each part, and as a result, it's easy to understand what that character would believe and what that character's role would be and how they would react. So we're actually thinking of movie stars in certain faces to make the determination of how the book goes. And the book takes a life of its own. It's really amazing because even as we have the plan in place, the twists and turns even surprise us, and it doesn't end up exactly where we thought it was going to end. Like this book itself, it had a really twisting end. But I'll tell you this, I think the reader will really love the development of the characters. They're characters that you think you love, and then you turn out to hate them, and vice versa. And they're well described. I think that everyone that has read the book tells us how much they love the characters and the character development. And so you can really get into the book if you really get into the characters. And that's kind of how the book carries on.
Well, it kind of gets you from the get-go. I mean, when you start the book, and everything, I was thinking about what I was going to wear tonight. And then all of a sudden I was thinking about, falling into this muddy area with water moccasins and stuff. And I thought, okay, I'm a snake book bit woman, and I brought a little bit of the tree with me. But I do the same thing when I read a book. It plays out in my mind visually like a film. But I've never quite heard this version of the writing process about, okay, so now we need to hear from both Wendy and you. How did you come up with who plays who? What characters did you visualize for the movie stars playing these roles?
And that's a funny question, because I ask book clubs all the time, who would they cast? And it's always someone different than we cast. But
Sure. I kind of lost that last part. We're cutting out.
Okay, well,
there we go.
When we go to book clubs, we actually ask them who, we tell them the story, and some of them have already read it. And I said, who do you think the characters would be for a movie? Mm-hmm. And they're often different than what we imagined. And so I'll give you this. I imagine Russell Crowe as the detective. Uh-huh. And so we have his picture up, and we decide what he would do and what he wouldn't do.
Okay.
Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy.
I guess we lost Wendy, huh?
No, I'm here. Yeah, a lot of times, okay. Like when we began to work on the book, let's say like in this book, one of the central characters is a family. So we have Tyler and Sarah, and then they have a set of twins. So when we're first starting out, we don't know necessarily a whole lot about them. So I'll know that we need pictures of a couple that are in their 20s and then a set of twins. And we might know that Tyler is kind of moody and he's entitled and that kind of thing. And we know Sarah's kind of from a lower class family and maybe more country and not as sophisticated as Tyler. So I'll go and I'll look for pictures that are of those types of people. And so typically when you go and you look at for young women in their early 20s, the pictures that you come up with are stars. And you kind of see that. So when you look for images of people like that, those are the pictures that come up. So when you look for people that are giving you the type of expressions that you're looking for, and the type of clothing that you're looking for, those end up being basically the movie stars that fill the bill that we're looking for. And the same thing for the children. We were looking for children that were kind of sad and kind of not very happy in their home life and that kind of thing. And so that's kind of what you do in regard to looking for the different characters that are throughout the book. And that way, when Richard and I are talking, we're talking about the different characters, we're actually visualizing the exact same people, so that, you know, we really are seeing the book exactly the same people.
So did you email each other?
We have a board.
Go ahead.
We have a working board with everyone's picture with their name under it as we write the book, so we can always make reference to it.
Right. And we have another way of doing it too. We build a spreadsheet so that we can actually see the book in a much abbreviated way. So we'll have basically this chapter has these scenes in it from this person's viewpoint, and this is what's accomplished in these scenes. So if we wanted to, we could move things around, and we don't have to read through the entire whole chapters. We can see it in a much abbreviated way.
That's a great idea. So it's a big giant spreadsheet, and, you know, like a wall poster?
No, it's more 8.5 by 11, but it's, you know, it's long. So it's a long process to do it that way, but it makes it a lot easier because Richard is very, very busy. And so a lot of times when we meet, this is really when the book is more developed and we're trying to edit and do it that way. It's a faster, easier way to do it. And then we can get, you know, more into the fine tuning later on, but this is more from a standpoint when, you know, we're working on the pieces, that kind of thing.
I think that would be so helpful, because I remember when I was first doing my book club, the Pulpwood Queens, I remember receiving a book to read, and I got so confused because halfway through the main character's name changed. It was, I guess they decided to didn't edit it very well, but the first part of the book, it's like her name was Susie, and the last part of the book, it was Cindy. I was like, uh-oh.
That's confusing.
Very confusing, but I think it is helpful when you have those descriptions of people in the name so that you don't do that. And it could have been, maybe somebody said that name has been used to death. Could you change it to something else? And they just didn't really check the copy well enough. But I just thought, no, I don't think we'll be able to pick that. But I sent it back and said, you might want to look at your character's name. So, but it's always interesting to learn the writing process of how people do it. When you were doing this, did you meet in person or did you do it via email, or how did you actually do it?
Oh, part of this was written when I was in Hawaii. And so we would have to, you know, go back and forth and meet. And then of course, when I moved back, that made it a lot easier.
I can imagine. And how long did it take you to write this book? It's a pretty, I mean, you've got a lot of pages here, you know, so this, I'm sure it took a while.
Richard, what would you say? We probably all together, probably 8 years, maybe we've been working on this book. Would you say? Because we crossed, if we were working on it while we were finalizing Two Dead and Counting, right? They were crossed over.
It went by so quick, because I was going to say 2 years. It was such a fun process. So
no, long.
I was going to years, I believe you.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but we were crossing over with the other two because we had, you know, we were kind of finalizing the other one while this one was still being written.
Were you working on the third one when you were working on the second one?
Yes.
Because I never can figure out how anybody.
We already had the
in a year. You know, that seems almost impossible to me.
Multitasking.
Whew, that's some major multitasking, especially when you have collaboration with two people working on the project. It's a fascinating process, and we talk a lot about it on our writing club that we're doing, you know, the second Saturday of every month. So it's, you know, we might have you guys done a talk on the writing process at all for any of book clubs or different things?
We, other than just talking about the fact that we choose our characters so that we can visualize together, and we have mentioned that we do make a spreadsheet chart, you know, of scenes and things like that, but we've never really shown it to anyone, or we haven't really talked about it in detail. But it is a great way to collaborate. It's really helped us, I think, to be able to do it and to make the most use of our time when we're together. And then when it's really time to get down into the details of editing it, when it's really together and we're fine tuning, then we just really sit down and read it together and go through it and fine tune.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
I think every author that we've had on, or every collaboration author project we've had on, we learn something new. I remember one of the coolest things that I heard was Fanny Flagg was dyslexic. And she said in the hallway of her house, she runs clothesline, and she clips her chapters up like a quilt. And then she arranges them on the wall of how she wants each chapter. They're not necessarily in chronological order. You know, they go back and forth, back and forth. That was fascinating. And then when Mary Morris was talking about her book, All the Way the Tiger, she has different themes in her book. She has the actual going to see the tigers in India. She has the actual experience. The book itself is a tiger because it's got a tiger cover. And so what she did is she color coded each chapter so that when she laid them out, she could do them so they weren't like all just about the going to see the tigers or all just about her story. And I found that fascinating. So we learn from authors talking about the writing process. And are you morning people or night people?
Richard writes really in the morning, don't you, Richard? You're early morning, and I'm more like, I get up in the mornings, you know, I'm ready to go upstairs like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then I can write till 5 in the afternoon. So I can go all day, but don't get me writing at night. That doesn't really work for me very well. So, and to your point about like the clothesline and that kind of thing, fortunately for me, typically the way that it comes out is typically the way that it stays. I've never had to really move things around. It just, I don't know why that is. I'm just really glad that that's the way it is. It just, for whatever reason, comes out right. I'm glad because that would make me nuts. I don't know what I would do if that worked like that.
Well, everybody has their own process, and the early morning thing makes sense to me because that's when I have my most energy, because by the time night comes, I can't even keep my eyes open. So, but I do the same thing Richard talks about, where I wake up at 3:33 almost every night on the minute. And I'm always like, I look at the watch and I laugh because it's always, and I found another author that wakes up at 3:33 too. But I have my best ideas for my story. I work them kind of out in my dreams, and I'll wake up with this epiphany on how to resolve an issue. Do you have that happen, Richard? Is he there?
Richard?
Did you hear that?
Is he still there?
Did we lose him?
He's muted.
He's here, but he's on mute.
Okay. Can you?
There we go. That better?
Richard, I was going to ask you, when you have these dreams, are they like epiphanies on how to solve issues of your story? Like when you wake?
Yes. It is a complete dream with a beginning and end. when I do it, and I have to wake up because, as you well know, waking you forget once you completely wake up. So I have to get up right then and write the whole story down. And sometimes it takes 15 minutes, sometimes it takes an hour or two, but they're all different.
Because you forget the things that you wake up and you go, oh my gosh, I know how to end the story, or I know how it's going to transition to this. I have to get up and write it down, because if I don't, the next morning, if I fall back asleep, I go, what was that I dreamed last night?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that how everybody perceives the different parts of the writing process. But this book actually debuted when? It came out
July of last year.
July of last year. So do we know when the third book's going to come out?
No.
That's
no, hopefully soon. But that one took 8 years. This one may do the same. But it looks like 2 years to me. It went by so quick.
My feeling is a book's ready when it's ready. I don't think people that can churn out these books, every year, I just go, they must not have a life. Or else they're just really fast writers, because it takes me 4 times as long to work it out first in my head. Then when I get it worked out, it's no problem writing down. But if I start to write it down before it's fully formulated, I find myself getting stuck, starting over. And another thing I wanted to ask you too, when you write, do you read it out loud to see how it sounds?
Absolutely.
Well,
only after written. Only after it's written.
Only after it's written. I think that's important too, because so many of the books are now going to Audible or audio books, and I think if you don't read it out loud, you can't hear the voice of the conversations of the characters and so when you read it out loud, you can get that. What I want to do now is I want to open it up for all of you to talk to Richard and Wendy about questions, any burning questions or anything to do with the process. Who wants to go first? I got to change the view so I can see if everybody, if I can't see you all, there's so many here tonight. There we go. I can see everybody. Does anybody have any questions about, hi, everybody. It's good to see you all.
Hey.
Anything to do? Yes, great. Go right ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm a solo writer, and I find it very hard, even when I write technical things, to have to write with somebody else. Now, you guys have been doing this for a long time, but how did you find your rhythm together?
We've known each other so long. We're like brother and sister in that sense, and we she's always right. Make it that way. How about that? It makes it. So it's been very easy. We've never had a conflict. We work well together, and it's just been a pleasure. And that's all I can say. I don't know how you feel about it, Wendy.
Yeah, we have never had a conflict. It really has been. It's been so much fun, and it just I don't know. I just think that we tend to see things the same way when it comes to the stories, and I don't know. It's just really been a great partnership. It really has been.
That's fantastic. Well,
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Donnie.
Hey, how are y'all doing? I mean, I'm seeing all these people I know. Hey, Claire. Hey, Stephanie, Kara, and Mandy. Anyway, and Richard. Hey.
Hey.
We're here in Jackson, Mississippi, and Richard. This is Richard and Wendy's second book so far. And just wanted to thank you, Kathy, for choosing their work for the June book. I know Richard, I came in late, but I think you're in Puerto Rico, right?
Are you?
I am right now. I am.
That's what I thought. I thought you were. Wendy had told me you were heading out. And anyway,
That's amazing.
I just wanted to thank you, Kathy, for choosing a Mississippi writer. I mean, you've done, it's not the first time you've done that by any means, but Richard is very well known in our parts, but you know, outside of the state, probably not so much, but he and Wendy are doing some good things. So we're excited about it and excited that you're promoting them. I know we've rallied for a while, rallied you for a while.
They rallied hard. I'm going to tell you they did, but it's always a challenge. And we want to, you know, I have book club members from all over the country, and now even outside, they're saying, why don't you pick this, why don't you pick that? And, you know, getting people to send both Mandy and I books, because Mandy and I we're both reading to get through all these, and we go to each other daily and say, what have you read? What'd you get? Did you get this one? And so we're compiling the stacks for each month. Then towards the end of the year, we're going to go through and make it, you know, official, but it's going to take us that long to get through everything.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, we appreciate that you did this. And you know, Wendy's been with us for several years, quite a while, and she brought Richard on in, so we're excited about that. And they'll be joining us for our book club. We're actually doing it next month with them on Zoom, and so, you know, anyway, it's a pleasure to have them on here, and we appreciate you doing that.
Well, our book club has been known from the very beginning for helping. And I want to make this clear. I said undiscovered authors, first-time authors, but somebody said, well, I'm not a first-time author. And I'm pretty famous, like you guys are in Jackson. But I found that I discover an author almost every day that I've never heard of that is famous wherever they live.
Right, exactly. I mean, Richard, everybody in the Jackson area has known Richard for 20, 30 years now.
Well, there's nobody connecting the dots. So what I'm trying to do is, I said, if we all virtually hold hands and we all work together and we share all this stuff, then we can all be on the same page that there's some great reads in other places than New York City. You know, I think it's really important that people know that there's great books all over the world. And we have always picked global and diverse books, but it wasn't until I added this 21st year international in front of our book club that people realized that we were an international book club. We've been picking books from all over the world. The Canal House by Mark Lee, Pray Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. We've been picking a lot of books from Memoirs of a Geisha, and we will continue to do so. And I think this year's list is one of the best we've ever done. We're really proud of it, and we're really excited about next year's list. And any other questions for our authors while we've got them here live, because they're on Breathless Bubbles and Books. We got a little trouble because of the holiday connecting, but we're on track now. We got everything going. And so, yes, did you have a question, Jean, or a comment? You're on mute, hon. Unmute. No.
Unmute, Jean.
She can't hear us.
She sure can, apparently.
No, I did not have a question.
Okay, I thought your hand went up. But when you get to speak, look in the lower left-hand corner and make sure you're on where you can talk. So, because we can't always hear you. I'm the worst about doing that myself. Anybody?
Kathy, I've got something
Sure.
to say. Ingram was having a difficult time in regard to pushing out the books, the description of the book. So in some of the independent bookstores, like Main Street Reads, they're only able to see the cover, but not able to read the description of the books. So that's been a real issue we've tried to get resolved and not been able to.
You're not the first one that's told me that. And, you know, these big companies that cover everything, including Amazon, you know, I have people go, why don't you review your author's books? And I go, they won't let me. None of the online booksellers will let me review books. They bump them back and I don't really know why. I was putting on there an official Pulpwood Queen book club selection. So I don't know, maybe they think people pay me to pick the books. Nobody pays me to pick the books. And I do tell people though, if you join the book club, I read my book club members' books first because they are invested in reading with us. And we want to know you're not just joining the book club so your book will get picked. We want to know that you're really a reader as well as an author, because I think the best authors are readers. And when I think about the perfect example, I think about Pat Conroy, because Pat Conroy used to come to Girlfriend Weekend and he would stand in the line of every author to get their book. And when I went to his home with Tawana, I could not believe his home. It's actually a library with furniture in it, because every single room, it even had stacks in some of the rooms that you had to go up. He had more books. I mean, Sandra still lives there. And I just was amazed, but it was a pretty big thrill. If any of you were, at a Girlfriend Weekend, to have Pat come up to your table and say, could you sign my book? I mean, that's pretty, that speaks volumes. It really does. But we are really trying to.
Kathy, can I make one quick point about Pat Conroy?
Yes.
Several years ago, I mean, early on when my book club started coming to Girlfriend Weekend, Marilee Hall and I were sitting at the dinner table during the author dinner when they wait on tables. And Marilee and I looked up and she said, is that Pat Conroy about to serve us dinner? And I was like, it is. And that was pretty cool. I mean, that's kind of my Pat Conroy story. I talked to him numerous times after that, but to be just blown away by Pat Conroy bringing my plate, serving my dinner.
That was actually his wonderful idea to help share one of his best friends, Janice Owens, who is a Florida, she lives in Florida, but she's lived all over. But one of his best friends wrote a book called The Cracker Kitchen. And he brought in Janice Owens, and she cooked the dinner along with a bunch of my Pulpwood Queens and more of my authors that had cookbooks. And we had 66 signed up for that first dinner, and 100 and almost 30 showed up, and we were in the Excelsior Hotel, and it did not hold that many. So we just kept pulling out chairs, and somehow we all scrunched in there. And we literally, that was probably one of the highlights of all the years of Girlfriend Weekend.
It was great. It was great. Yeah.
Pat and all the people, including his daughter, Melissa Conroy, wearing the apron, serving. And when we get back to meeting live, we hope we'll be able to do some more things like that. It's not happening this year, you guys. It's back virtual. Any other things anybody wants to bring up and ask Wendy or Richard about their books, or any comments or inside stories? Maybe you guys could tell us a little bit about how you met and know each other, because everybody always wants to know the story behind the story. How did you first meet?
Richard, do you want me to? Who's going to go first?
You go ahead.
Okay. Well, actually, a long time ago, I guess all those years ago, I had been going to get married and my fiance died. And so I had gone to get some counseling. And so it was like quite the thing. It was like a lot of hours long every single day. And you go to different counseling for every hour you're somewhere else. And we happened to be, he was there for other reasons. And we were in the same sessions a couple of different times. And I would bring in different pieces of writing to help me work through different issues. And so I guess he got to know some of my writing that way. And he approached me one day and said something about, I've always wanted to write books and I've been looking for someone that might partner with me. And at the time, I really didn't take it seriously or didn't take it to heart, because I just really, my heart was not in it. But then later on, that came back to me. And so as we got to know each other during those times that we were there, eventually I called him and set up lunch with him, and we talked about it, and we decided that, yeah, we were gonna try to see whether or not we could make something work, and it really did work, and we became really good friends, and the rest is history, so they say.
That's
I
incredible.
think it was
Go
it
ahead.
was ordained.
I think it really was. I think that it was meant to be, and it's just been a tremendous blessing in my life. I know for sure it's absolutely been a great blessing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Know, every year we have our annual convention. Sometimes that's the first time I ever meet an author or meet somebody, but I'll have to tell you that this year, since we've been doing the Zoom meetings, I have gotten to know more people on a much more personal level than I've ever, once a year. It's hard. It's really hard because I'm so busy running it, and Tawana would be running around trying to get everything done. And this has been just you guys have gotten me through COVID. I don't know about all of you, but following like Eileen's blog and Mandy and I talk every day. We haven't even met in person, you guys.
Wow.
She's like my baby sister, and we talk way too much. We're both so much alike. It's not even funny. We're both artists and we both love to talk, but I think I talk more than her. But anyway, getting to know all of you all on this level has just been amazing. And we've had, been on Kathy's interview thing and done things with the pros and pandemic. And it's just wonderful. So I think the more we engage, the more important this book club is my life. And so I think about Johnny and all the girls. I mean, 19 years, how many years? 19 years, you all.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I think it's 19 years now. I think it is. I mean, and that was a fluke that we ever even found you to begin with.
I know.
That story's it's in the Pulpwood Queen's 20 years.
It's in our the Pulpwood Queen celebrate 20 years, which I learned so much from that reading of that book, because it's all the author's stories. And I often just hear the bad stuff. I didn't get my package. I haven't heard anything from anybody. How do I get on to the the program? Everything is on our website. Mandy and Paul and I, and even Robert, we've all been working so hard to make everything totally accessible. And we're really excited. We've come up with another good way to get our book club members back into the Zoom meeting. Is we announced June 1st that we are going to offer for book clubs a one fee for your entire book club. Now, if you've already paid, there's nothing I can do about that. But if you want to bring in all your entire book club, it's $2.99 right now if you sign up individually. But if you sign up your entire book club, it's $4.99, and you just split the cost with your members. And you want to do it because the things that are going to happen this year are going to be pretty amazing. It's going to be a week long. We're going to have a lot of activities. We're going to have so much more bloggers and the Dolly Parton Imagination Libraries jumping on board. We've got a lot of things in place, and if you can't watch it all in one sitting, we don't expect anybody to. I'm recording this all and putting it up on our Kathy L. Murphy channel on YouTube, and all you have to do is subscribe, and it'll tell you every time a new video. And we really need that, because I checked today and I think we're not even at 140, and we literally have thousands of members. So we're not even, hardly at 10% of our membership. We need to get everybody on board so they can see all the fun we're having discussing the books. So we want to know more from all of you. You can email me at thepulpwoodqueen@gmail.com. And Mandy has multiple emails, one for the magazine, Reading Nation, one for anything that's Pulpwood Queen related, and that's all on the website. So we're here to help make those connections and help all of you grow. I know your book club members that you're in, are like your family. And I can't imagine my life now with, it only takes me to lose one person like Tawana, and I realize how much everybody means to me that's in my book club. And, I just talked to Karen the other day. I talk to everybody all the time. Talked to Catherine Casey today. I've talked to Johnny Bernhardt. I'm talking to everybody. We're just in constant conversation. And that's what it is. It's sharing Wendy and Richard's story, but it's sharing our stories too. So I thank Claire Fullerton for helping me get the idea of writing the Pulpwood Queen Celebrate 20 Years. That was edited by Susan Cushman, and it's out there. And we're working on a new anthology, which Mandy just posted in our latest issue of Reading Nation magazine is up. And you guys, everybody's in there. We're featuring book club members. Tell us a little bit, Mandy, about everything that's coming up in the magazine.
Oh, well, we have our authors that are artists. So that's kind of fun, to get to see that side. Johnny agreed to write a story for our members. Betty Coble's in this one. So we've got just a lot of fun stuff and a lot of good books to put on, your to be read list. And I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun putting it together because I learn a lot about the authors, pulling their stuff and reading all their stuff. So that's fun. And then reaching out to all the book club members. I'm really enjoying that and all of it.
It's really great. The magazine is wonderful. We talked to Christine Hall of Lone Star Literary today and doing more things to partner. We've got some really exciting things coming up with that. We've got our Reading Nation magazine, which has just exploded, you guys. It's going around the world. Your pictures of your books, your stories. We want everybody to know just how fun it is. And it's not my book club, it's our book club. And I did not get here to 21 years without all this amazing support, And Robert and I are doing the craziest thing with our book and film club because, well, I started out, doing the book and thing by myself, and I felt like I was talking to myself all the time. So Robert would jump on, and he just knew so much about insider stuff about film. So I invited him to be my co-host. And so then we would pick a movie, and I'd surprise him and dress up. And let me tell you, he dresses up too. I'm telling you, the guy has impeccable taste. But we're doing Shampoo, which is a 70s film with Warren Beatty coming up this Saturday night. And you will not believe what we're wearing. So if you want to have some fun and laugh a lot, storytelling can be in many things besides books. It can be books made into movies or just screenplays is storytelling, or songs, just the way songs can tell stories. So we're really excited about, we've picked Shampoo, then we picked Pretty in Pink for the next week, which is an 80s film. And then for the 90s, we picked Urban Cowboy. How long has it been since anybody watched that film? It's kind of funny to me now. But we're having a lot of fun, and we do all genres, all fun. And Ruthie Landis, who's an author that's been involved with Broadway's been, this woman knows everything. So every one of you have something to give. And the fact that Grace and Kathy and Eileen, and I'm seeing all of you are jumping on board and supporting us, and Wendy and Richard, all of you. We all have something to give, but it's so much more fun when we're all together. And I think half the fun at Girlfriend Weekend was the after hours, just parties of us getting together and talking and just sharing each other's lives. So we've got some big plans. We're going to have some contests, and then the other exciting news that we've got coming up is in the fall we're going to debut the Kathy L. Murphy show on YouTube, and Robert Waltney is going to be my co-host, and Mandy Haynes is going to be the producer, and we're going to bring on all of you, all of our authors, celebrities, film people, lots of surprises. I think you're going to be amazed at what all we're going to do, and we're going to make it as entertaining as possible. So the more we can get our authors' books out there in a big way. And the wonderful thing about, I get so excited when I see Eileen talking with, Valerie or somebody, other authors, or maybe authors that never knew each other till girlfriend weekend. I mean, how many authors have you met, Robert, that you talk to now on a regular basis?
Oh my gosh, so many. I mean, it's been wonderful. Of course, Claire and Mandy, and I've gotten to know Eileen through her Facebook group, along with Kathy, and yeah, it's just been one. And Stephanie, and of course Wendy. I see Wendy come through every now and again. And just met Grace. Yeah, I mean, I've met some wonderful authors and have established some great friendships. So it's been an amazing opportunity. And
our very first Writers Club featured Robert and his writing critique group in Atlanta, Georgia. So we met all these other authors, and now Mickey, not Mickey Goodman, but Mickey Dubrow. When authors have similar first names, it's the age thing, it's starting to, which I just announced, the wrong star on the film club, because Robert had to correct me the other day. I go, it was Jane Steen. He goes, no, Kathy, it was Montgomery Clift. So, I'm going to tell you, you're going to see all that I'm not a perfect queen. I do the best I can. But luckily for all of the world, I have all of you to help me. So I can't thank you for all of this enough. And how are we going to wrap this up? How did you come to be in Puerto Rico? Are you on a vacation?
I'm on an extended vacation. I've been working so hard that I decided to take a break.
Well, what's it like in Puerto Rico?
So I'm here for fun. I'm sorry?
What's it like in Puerto Rico right now? What's the weather?
It is gorgeous. It's in the 80s, but it feels like it's in the 70s with the breeze coming off the ocean. It's absolutely gorgeous. The weather's just gorgeous. And it's a different world, even though it's part of the United States. It definitely is a different world, this area, but it's absolutely beautiful.
Well, it's still raining in East Texas, right, Stephanie? Are we ever going to get a reprieve? It has rained here for how long? I mean, forever.
Weeks and weeks and weeks.
Oh.
We need that rain. It's kind of rumbling out there now. Usually it moves over from East Texas to us, and we haven't had any in a while. We're ready.
Really? Well,
yeah.
We'll send it your way. We'll send it. So it has been, in fact, I was in Stephanie's store the other day, and it was actually not rainy. It was a little overcast, but the electricity went out. And we're going, is it thundering? Is it lightning? Is it storming? And her store went black on the inside. It doesn't have any windows. It's all the European antiques. And so we decided we were going to go get to Sonic just to kill time till the lights came back on. And we locked ourselves out.
Oh, yes.
It was quite the day, because she's got this wrought iron fence with these little spears on the top. And I couldn't get over that fence. And Stephanie goes, well, I sure can't get over the fence. But we found a fellow business little girl who climbed it like a monkey, got us in. But, it's all about these stories. And Puerto Rico sounds pretty amazing right now to me. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah. Well, come on. I got a 3-bedroom condo. Come on.
Oh, right. Well, let's see if we can get out of this country. I'm ready to go. Right, Stephanie? Stephanie's taking her troop back to Italy this fall with Decorate Ornate tours. And she's filled up on your next 2 tours, right?
We got 2 bus loads ready to go and working on the 3rd one. If we can just get there.
I know. It's something. But I've got my shots, and my daughter and I actually went to a movie theater yesterday, and I have to tell you guys, it was magnificent. We went and saw Walt Disney's Cruella. Oh my gosh, there's nothing like you know, until something's taken away from you, you don't really appreciate it. But now I just get so excited just driving down a road. I've been in this cabin for so long, I'm about to go. My cats are my only companions. So thank you for joining us. Any news we want to share before we end this Zoom meeting tonight? Any exciting news for anybody?
Well, Richard and I both have news.
Yes, we do. Go ahead. You first.
Me first. Okay, well, I am going to be getting married the end of August, August 29th, to Rich Cicerelli, who is somewhere on our, yes, he's here somewhere.
Wave, Rich, wave. Can you hear us? Yay!
And now Richard has his own news.
Yeah, I'm getting married on July the 3rd to a fine Georgia peach.
Aww.
And she's a lady, and so excited about that as well.
Yeah, she's a wonderful woman. Very, very nice.
Congratulations.
This is exciting news. We need good news. So congratulations to the grooms and best wishes to the brides.
Yes, I wondered who Rich was on here. I'm like, I don't remember that name. So
I'm Rich. I've already heard all about you, and from what I understand, you're Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is Italian and he's wonderful, and I'm very, very blessed.
I'm excited for all three of y'all. We don't have Richard's fiance on here, but I'm excited for all four of y'all.
Yeah,
So,
that's good. And Rich, you need to know Stephanie over here, because she takes trips to Italy with Americans, and I've taken my Pulpwood Queens on 2 trips with her.
Wow.
Fabulous, fabulous. And I've been dreaming about it every night going back. But her next, she's going to Spain, Italy.
Yeah, we'll be going through Germany, Spain, France, and Italy, the Tuscany region. Then we'll be home for just a few weeks and turn right back around and go to be in Sicily and then through southern Italy. And then after that one, we'll go back in northern Italy and Switzerland.
I'll have some vino locale for me.
Yep.
Right here.
Okay, y'all. I'm from East Texas. I got my Whataburger.
Hey, Kathy Ramsberger, I forgot to mention you a while ago. Hey, when I was naming all the people I knew here, I'm sorry I didn't mention you a while ago. Hey.
Yeah. We love everybody that's here tonight. Thank you so much. So any words from Richard and Wendy before we go?
I just really appreciate all of you and this opportunity, and you just, Kathy, you just are just such a blessing in my life, and I just really appreciate your friendship on top of all the opportunity and everything else. It's just been just a treat to get to know you. You know, we've had some wonderful discussions, and I just think the world of you very much. And this has just been really great. And I you know what I think about you. So
I know we really bonded in 2020 because I got to hear her story, and I'm so excited for you and Rich. I want pictures. Okay, we'll post them everywhere. We want to celebrate with Richard and his. What's your bride's your fiance's name, Richard?
Her name is Sandra Landrum.
Well, we want to see a photo of you two too. So share the photos, share the Big Book Love. You all, if you haven't read it, you need to get it out. And this is our book of the month. And I just can't thank Mary Sharif enough for letting me post all my June picks. Lone Star Literary here in Texas, the online magazine, has all of our picks. Mandy has worked really hard and really showcasing you in our new Reading Nation magazine. And I just, it's a lot of great things are all just coming together. And who knew? I mean, when I ended 2020, I was in bad shape, but I'm back. And it's only because of Robert and Paul Roberson and Mandy Haynes, who have just supported me. I just can't tell you, I just didn't know what I was going to do without Tawana, and I miss her every day. But I'm telling you, there's people out there that are givers. And you look for the givers, you look for the visionaries, you look for the people that see the positive side of life. Be kind, share the big book love, and everything's up on our website. If you guys want to come and join us for our book and film club of shampoo.
Hey, Kathy, everybody needs to see you and Robert, the movie that y'all discussed where Kathy is dressed up like a man. And I posted that on my Facebook, and someone in the store today said, who was that man on the film club? It said Kathy Murphy, but that's not Kathy. I said, oh, yes, it was.
Hey, you know, my biggest thrill was I played the a character from My Man Godfrey. I decided I couldn't pull off the young ingenue. So I thought, well, I'll dress up as the man. And when I went on, Robert goes, dang, you're hot. I was like, finally hot. I have to be a man to be hot. So, dang.
Kathy, one other thing, that recipe that is with Breathless Bubbles and Books that matches our book. Oh my goodness, you guys have to check out the recipe.
Did they
very
post
nice.
When did they post it? Is it in? It's in the. Where is it?
I'm gonna post it tomorrow.
It's in the magazine, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's in the magazine.
Yes, yes. You guys, Breathless Bubbles and Books is the winery, award-winning winery that was featured in Forbes. That is, they package our book with the wine. They pick a wine in beautiful gift boxes.
Beautiful gift boxes.
And share that with everybody, because the perfect Father's Day gift. I mean, Pearl River Mansion with a book. Send that out to every, you know, father, uncle, whatever, guy in your life. It's a great gift. And we are getting ready to do another big launch with another drink. And I'll just give you a little hint. It's a tea company. So we're going to be, you know, we're going to have something for after 5 and for in the afternoon. So it's going to be fabulous. I'll let Mandy, who brought this all together, announce it when it's about to come forth. But we're pretty excited about it because it gives something that's a non-alcoholic pairing with our books. And now I'm working on a coffee company. So, you know, we want to have something for everybody and something that can be available all over the world. So thank you all so much for joining us. I just can't say how much I appreciate you. This is being recorded. It will be downloaded on our Kathy L. Murphy channel. Get everybody to subscribe and click the bell icon. It's really important that, you know, we get the word out there that you all have these wonderful books and stories to share. So as I always say, everybody, it's all about the story. So we'll see you next time. See you Saturday, Robert. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.